Hey, everybody. Welcome to Women in Cannabis Wednesday, where every Wednesday we bring you a new leader in this industry. And we are very excited today to have Nicole McNair with us. But in the interim, I just wanted to say hi. This is our first time. As you know, I've been talking about pivoting our stream to going to like a YouTube or a Facebook, and we found the best platform for us to be able to do that, and I'm really excited. So wanted to just say again, this is Tanya from the Canadiva, and I'm sure that we are still really coming in off that, like, the best experience of participating at Women in Cannabis Lobby Day for New York. I would be kind of underestimating it to say that it was amazing, like, because it was amazing. We had so many people participate. So I wanted to say thank you to those of you that did participate in Women in Cannabis Lobby Day. It was so fantastic. We're going to continue to do some programming because we have some time left before April 1st, which is when the budget goes into play. And so we're excited about that. And we'll keep you posted with all of this stuff. Remember to follow us on the Canadiva on Instagram. So I wanted to introduce you to our this week's Women in Cannabis is Nicole McNair, who is a serial entrepreneur, a real estate investor, and now a cannabis CEO. And I think it's really fantastic. So I'm going to bring her on, but I think it's really fantastic to actually talk to someone who is a grower, like who's actually putting stuff in the ground and doing some amazing things. So let me bring up our guest.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on our first live stream of Women in Cannabis Wednesday. So, well, Instagram is technically live, but this is live to a broader audience.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for putting the handles at the bottom. WH Farms Co. I want to make sure everyone gets the right one
for WH. All right, we'll have to fix that. We'll take that up, but we'll make the adjustment later.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here. So please introduce yourself to our Canadiva community.
Well, Canadiva, thank you for having me. My name is Nicole McNair. I am certainly a serial entrepreneur, but very excited to be the founder and CEO of WH Farms. We grow industrial hemp in Eastern North Carolina. We also are able to extract from that hemp high quality CBD that we have made available, commercially, obviously, but the main mission of our farm, and I feel that this is an opportunity for us, is to really help people get into the cannabis space, to have their own CBD infused product, to be a part of spreading this magic around the world. We feel that will contribute to destigmatization, really society having more of a understanding of how powerful and beneficial it is. Absolutely. And how innocent, frankly, it is. I think that there's a certain delicacy that we have to really understand, that this plant is powerful in how it heals. And so it's quite more delicate than it is a threat. And I think that when we're able to empower more people to have their own product line, sharing that with their customers, it's like a triple effect in terms of the social impact.
So you said so much there, and I want to pick apart everything. But the first thing you said that I thought was fantastic, I'd never heard cannabis referred to as innocent. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that is the most authentic statement I have heard today, because you're right. We have demonized this plant.
Absolutely.
We have criminalized this plant. And what is the difference between cannabis and basil? I mean,
what is the difference between cannabis and mullein, cannabis and damiana, cannabis and, any other herb that we find grown freely on this earth,
right?
That helps to heal the body. I mean, it's just absolutely innocent. So, we have to free cannabis.
I love that. So I love that you're trying to help other people get into the industry. But my question is, how did you get to the industry? Like, what brought you to cannabis?
So I actually am a cannabis enthusiast. I absolutely love smokable cannabis. I started in 2015, 2014, 2015, where I went through a period of time right after the transition of my father, where I became very, very I know now that it was the onset of delayed PTSD. I know now that it was the anxiety that I was struggling with, but it took me about 8 months to make it to therapy. Okay. So for those 8 months, I was in literal hell. And I was so emotionally bogged down because then I couldn't figure it out. And I also had just transitioned into full-time entrepreneurship. I had a great career in commercial real estate development, decided to go on my own and start flipping properties in Washington, D.C., very stressful and expensive market. And so I already had this natural stress that I was dealing with, and then I lose a parent. And so in dealing with that, when I went to therapy, the therapist shared with me that I had shown symptoms of delayed PTSD. And so she went to further certify and then decided that they wanted to suggest a treatment plan. And this treatment plan would have included, obviously, opioids. And at the time, I lived in Maryland. Maryland was medicinally legal. And I suggested that I try a plant-based option because I don't even enjoy taking Tylenol for headaches. I'm not a medicine type of girl. I am a peppermint oil for a headache, some great tea for other aches and pains. I believe that the earth has given us what we need.
I agree.
The reason why we don't always perform adequately is because we have so many things mixed into our bodies that we're not even able to fully perform. I'm very guilty of that. But, a part of the way that I make sure that I at least create a boundary in what I consume is through medicine. I'm very particular about what I consume medicinally. And so I suggested to her that I try cannabis. And she said, well, I think that there's THC has shown to have some positive benefits to PTSD and anxiety relief. We discussed and went through a couple of dispensaries that were in the area. I started to become a customer or a client, and my life changed. I remember going through this period, and I'll be brief, and I was, very, ambitious, single, just really like going it. And then boom, it was a boom. It was a boom. And it was such a boom that I said, well, after about 3 or 4 months of this boom, I said, well, wait a minute. I'm normally able to recalibrate. But it felt like, I told my therapist, it felt like I was running through quicksand. And you can only imagine, I was just trying, and everything that I knew logically to do, I would put forth that effort, but I had no energy. My mental composure wasn't there. And I was so fragile that if you mentioned anything to me, I would probably cry. Anything. That was just the level of my fragility at that time. And it was at a time where, the conversations about mental health weren't as socially acceptable. And so it was, you almost had to suffer in silence. So cannabis became a great relief and truly a way for me to manage that. And so I became an enthusiast. I would consume tinctures and gummies and smokables and anything that I could do to just begin to manage. And it was just phenomenal. And so it created an experience for me to really have a value and appreciation for the plant. I started to share it with my family. My mom went through double knee surgeries in the same year at the age of 74. She bounced back, and we had a party, and she danced the entire night, all because of this plant that everyone made us afraid of. But in reality, it's packed so many solutions for us for so many decades, centuries.
That's fantastic. So my question is how old were you when this happened? If you don't mind my asking.
It was, so this was like.
Were you an adult?
Yeah, no, I was an adult. I was actually, I would think that I was above 30, maybe 32, 33.
That's fantastic. Because, most people, well, not most, but some people experience cannabis way earlier.
Yeah.
So you had to really want to exercise your options as a patient.
Yeah.
So in essence, you were your own advocate, which we always tell people that you really have to be your own advocate. I mean, my story is a little different. I was a consumer before and didn't realize that I was self-medicating until the best doctor in the world. And she was like this quacky, weird, eccentric. And she said, "Oh, you're self-medicating."
Yep.
And I was like, and I chuckled because I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to call it.
Right.
And then like it helped me rest. I've been battling with anxiety since I was about 13 years old, and I knew that it made me relax and made me feel better, but I never considered myself using it medicinally until someone opened my eyes, because initially, as a woman of color, my family was like, you smoke pot, you're going to be like on crack in a week.
Right. Like the gateway drug. That was a stigma.
Yes.
It's supposedly a gateway drug.
So now when now you're a patient and you decide like you're spreading the wealth of cannabis knowledge. And when does it, now I guess because you are a serial entrepreneur, you're like, well, let's make a business out of this. But a business as opposed to a farm, really like
big challenges.
Okay.
I am a fan of challenges, and I actually, I travel frequently. That's one of the things that I would do to decompress, and so Amsterdam is one of my favorite places.
Mine too, girl. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that.
Isn't it amazing? I literally am there. My married last name is Vanderhorst, which is Dutch.
Okay.
So it's like I feel so connected now to the Dutch culture in so many ways, but I love Amsterdam for the real estate, for the city layout and infrastructure, and most importantly, for their way of truly elevating the culture of cannabis consumption. Because in Amsterdam, I remember years ago, I was in a coffee shop, probably right after, maybe 2013, 2014, around that time frame. And I was in a coffee shop and someone came in to attempt to sell something else. And the owner of the coffee shop literally, he just lost it. And he said, don't disrespect our culture. This is what we have here. The government isn't involved. Keep the government out of it. We don't want that chemical stuff, that fake stuff. And it just was so powerful to hear a consumer argue the need for the protection of a plant and the good that it was doing. They would leave their jobs for lunch break and go to a coffee shop and grab a meal, so to see how society had integrated it, but yet it was performing at a fast pace. It outperforms our country in a number of ways. Absolutely. It made me look at a different audience that I wanted to help curate, if you will.
That's fantastic. I love it there as well. That was one of the first places that I'd gone, like before Colorado or anything in the States. You went to Amsterdam. Like if you could go, you went, and I went in my early 20s and then went every year.
Yeah,
for 20 years.
I go about every other year, but I absolutely love it. I
was like, I could retire here.
Exactly. It's so beautiful. So I think that's what made me want to find a space in the industry as a business owner. And I feel that with that said, I wanted to I always try to create integrations within my business, because I think that is very important to be able to kind of take transferable skills that you've mastered in one area and be able to apply it. So I knew, living in Washington, D.C. for the number of years that I did, when it became recreationally legal, I would watch dispensaries be targeted, or they would retail shops, outfits, randomly shut down because local commissioners or community leaders could, petition if it was next to a church, if the church wasn't interested in seeing a line outside of the retail shop on Sunday mornings, then it could shut it down. And all of those inconsistencies in the business model, I felt concerned with regard to being involved in that space. And then, of course, with the pandemic, I think that although I know that retail will open up in some capacity, I think that all of us have to pay attention to the fact that we're walking into a post-COVID society. We're walking into a space where, as much as we may be comfortable, it's like 50% chance or more that the next person to us may not be comfortable.
Absolutely.
And that was going to dictate the way that society moves and responds from this time frame. And so I wanted to be on the supply side. I wanted to be a part of the cultivation side. I wanted to, I have a heart for rural America. I'm from rural America. I'm an Eastern North Carolina girl. I was raised and born and raised there. So a 2-stoplight town, my grandfather was in real estate years ago. My mom owned a farm, and so this isn't new. These haven't been new conversations in my family. So it's something that kind of transitioned naturally. I saw that there was a need to really identify opportunities to help both the acquisition of a farm and African-American legacy farmers, because there was a workforce that had been handicapped by just society going in this direction, but farmers kind of staying in an industry that wasn't moving at the same pace. So that's how I got involved.
That's fantastic. So North Carolina has been popping into my peer view a lot lately. My mentor moved from Connecticut to North Carolina recently. So every time North Carolina is having conversations about cannabis, he inboxes me, he sends me stuff so is North Carolina currently a medicinal only state or nothing yet?
I think it's medicinal only for certain research. I think there are very special requirements for the medicinal growth. I'm not as familiar on the cannabis or the THC side, but obviously
you're hemp. Right. Oh, so yeah. You participate under the Farm Bill.
Exactly.
Got it. So I am paying attention to cannabis in North Carolina, because I had already a couple of people hit me up, because I realized that certain parts of North Carolina are just like an extension of New York. Like all of my high school friends, or a good chunk of them, moved to North Carolina. I'm like, did I miss the memo? Like, what happened?
A lot of Northeasterners move here. And I was in the Northeast for 20 years in DC and then moved back to Charlotte, so it's a great state. I think that it has great opportunity, and I just believe that it's rich with great people, great ethics, great character, and great work ethic.
I love it. That's fantastic. So now tell me about, because I went onto your website and I saw what looked like a subscription box, but I don't know if it is or was, but tell me what it is.
So one of the things that I wanted to do with WH Farms to offer something different to the marketplace. We always, as business owners, want to solve problems. So the problem that I wanted to solve was to help people plant their flag in this industry as a form of additional income or different revenue streams for their families, using the hemp and the CBD from our farm, and so in our company. And so what I love is what I love is that the fact that hemp and CBD, the hemp-derived CBD, can be placed in so many different products, that it gives you a chance to really, Carol's daughter and some of these other phenomenal businesses that we now know started in kitchens, because we have these rich talents that sometimes we aren't quite aware of how to monetize. And then I started to notice how many women were placed out of the workplace due to COVID. How many individuals were losing their part-time jobs. The movie theater didn't open back up. The gyms closed down. Right. So I wanted WH Farms to really provide a financial solution. I wanted people to make money. It's funny because I actually, without even realizing that this would be the development of the idea, when maybe February of 2020, I recorded an IGTV live series called Create Your Own Economy. And it was all about really understanding that, as a businesswoman, especially as a seasoned businesswoman, you recognize that you have to attack the negativity with intense work and positivity or optimism, right? That's the only way to kind of change.
Say that one more time. Attack the
negativity. So this negativity was, here comes this pandemic. Here comes this deepening in the recession. Here comes, people are losing their jobs. People are losing their homes. That's all of the media is bringing us, all of the negative. Well, how do you ensure that the world doesn't infiltrate your world? It's through what you project. It's through your projection. And so I am the type of person that I believe in corralling people to be energetic, be positive, be extra particular about what you consume in your body and your mind during seasons like this.
Sure.
Because there's a wave and you don't want to find yourself like under the wave. You want to be able to really go against it, right? And so essentially what I decided with the Create Your Own Economy IGTV live series, I said you should monetize your hands, monetize the things you can do, create businesses around the things that you can do. If you have the ability to fix cars, legitimize it. If you have the ability to do these things, legitimize it. And then what do we see? A pandemic relief bill that benefits business owners and a stimulus package that gives a few $100s and maybe 2 weeks of groceries. Thank you, government. But let's say what it really can do.
Right. Not much.
It's not much, right? So that series took place, and fast forward a year later, that was the really one of the seeds that contributed to the development of what we know as a CBD business launch kit, where you can take 50 grams of distillate, which can be both ingested or used in topicals. We have a couple of DIY videos, a lot of recipes. We also have over 20 lessons that talk about the anatomy of the plant, some of the benefits of the plant. We talk about setting up the business, some of the nuances, marketing, and social media, advertising, all of the merchant processing, insurances, banks that do or don't allow CBD or cannabis businesses. We try to give individuals who are interested in owning a business in this space the tools that they need at their disposal to be able to successfully go from seed to shelf, our seed to their e-commerce shelf in like 90 to 120 days, because we know that we're in a unique time, right?
Yeah. So now you said that they take raw products and they make products, or you're basically giving them the product options, or are you giving people the freedom to
we have multiple
with it, or
we have multiple options. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Multiple options. So we have a certain part of our audience, which we're excited that many of our audience members or our community are individuals that may not have had or had a lot of familiarity with the plant, or individuals who have been looking for some sort of anxiety relief. They're familiar, and because of the impact, they want to do something to help others.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So many of them are business owners. So some of those who are business owners, like our chefs or people who already have a natural skincare product line, they are taking that kit and they're infusing the distillate and they're developing their recipes with their team to produce a shelf-worthy product, giving their consumers an opportunity to infuse CBD into an experience that they're already trusted to provide. And then we have individuals who are busy professionals. They may not have a product line already, and we actually white label, which is something that we're really excited about. We love it. We have a body care line. It's a body scrub, body butter, tinctures and gummies. We also provide pain balms, all over skin oil. So all of these various products that individuals are able to white label so that they can just slap their logo and label on and get it shipped out to their customers. So either way, our goal is to put people in position to turn an idea from concept to monetary compensation in a certain period of time. There's no reason why not. The statistics show that the cannabis industry, the consumers are rising at a rapid pace. We see the destigmatization happening globally in other countries, the United Nations, in the United States. We're watching the number of jobs that are being created in the cannabis industry. We recognize that there's tax revenue, significant amounts of tax revenue in legalized states. So why not position ourselves to know how to be a pioneer in an emerging market? This is all this is.
I think it's genius because people are working with a farm. So they're not necessarily doing it all by themselves, and they can actually know where their product is coming from.
Absolutely.
So it's not like you're going to provide them COAs and all that great stuff, but they can say that my product is a derivative of WH Farms, so they can actually point to where their product came from, which is pretty awesome when you think about it.
I'm really excited about that. We actually are going to be having a farm day over the summer, and we're inviting all of our white label customers, our kit owners down, because we want them to meet the farmers. Our farmers have a rich legacy to the land. Our main grower, Kelton, his actual grandmother is a Tuscarora Indian, and the Tuscarora Indians were known for being hemp gatherers before English colonized Eastern North Carolina. We were one of the first colonies to be developed in this country. And so prior to the English colonizing Eastern North Carolina, the Tuscarora Indians would actually make and cultivate hemp on that land. And now we're saying 3 or 4, hundreds of years later,
Right.
we're cultivating hemp through African Americans on that same land. So we're really excited about it.
That is exciting. So one of our Kate was like, farm day. We have this. We like to visit farms. Like, it is one of the things that we enjoy doing.
We will definitely make sure that, Candace, we will get that all set up. No problem.
Yes, because we love that. We did a farm in upstate New York. We're in New York, obviously. And we did a farm visit to Tonic or Tricola Farms in upstate New York. And it was like magical. There is really nothing better than being on a hemp farm. I don't know. It's just really awesome.
It's all of the aromas. It's all of the aromas. And, sun grow is just amazing because it grows so tall. Yeah. So you're able to really like feel the presence of it. It carries its own energy. So you're able to really be embraced by the energy. And we actually are going to also have our indoor. We have a couple of greenhouses as well. So we'll be able to even have that indoor experience, which I also think is fun.
What is the difference? I'm just curious, like the difference between an outdoor hemp grow and an indoor hemp grow. Why do you separate the two? Is there a purpose for that?
Just for the flowering. Okay. So when you're able to control the lighting, when you're able to control the temperatures, then you're also able to really make sure that you're able to get the right type of flowering, terpene development, et cetera, that you're looking for.
So is that like where the smokables come from?
The smokables come from the indoor and our extracts come from the outdoor. That's exactly how we have the operation set up.
Love it. Love it. So now tell me, I love the concept of creating generational wealth.
Yeah.
And like the people that have taken advantage of your program so far, have you have any success stories that you can share?
Yes. So I have to shout out a few, but Relax Mom Code launches tomorrow, 3/11. She is a federal government contractor who is a mom, phenomenal woman who started to use cannabis in Maryland in order to ease her anxiety just within the last 12 months. And when when the opportunity became available for her to create her own product, she engaged a number of resources to develop a shelf-worthy product. And she has a whipped shea, almond-based whipped shea that is infused with CBD from our farm. And so her website is relaxmom.co. I am super excited for her, but she's going to be launching tomorrow. She's already, though, let me tell you about her success story because it's so dynamic. So she purchased the kit. And the thing about this industry is that it's traveling so fast and the curiosity is growing so rapidly that really, your family and friends are interested. I had a wedding reception and I had a beautiful wedding cake and I had 3 or 4 beautiful trays of CBD infused Rice Krispie treats. The wedding cake made my husband and I's piece. All of it, and I'm not talking the 25 to 44-year-olds, okay? I'm talking my 65 to 80-year-olds. They were like, where are those treats again? And I'm going to sleep well tonight because it works, right? So long shorts, this young lady purchased the kit and she started making edibles. And she would send us messages via email and she would say, I can't keep Instacart away from my front door. I place it on social media. I send out a blast text. The orders are coming in by the droves, and I'm literally shipping out. People are picking up edibles like every hour, like
CBD edibles.
CBD edibles. For the thing is, there are consumers who have that are first timers. CBD is a great entryway. It's a great entry point. If you have, more professional background, you're a little bit more concerned about what the actual THC results will, how it will land in your drug test. You don't have to worry about those concerns with CBD.
No, that you're right. And I know a lot of people in the last year in particular have really been battling with anxiety. Absolutely. I mean, PTSD, like I think COVID is the cause of so much PTSD in the last year. So if you were looking at it or thought about it, I think hemp is really the best way to kind of like take baby steps. What I also realize is a lot of folks that I know that are consumers are choosing to consume more CBDA because they are working during the day.
Right.
They do like a smokable, but they're like, I don't want to end my day at, they want a morning indulging,
Yeah.
And I have 2 friends that used hemp flower to stop smoking cigarettes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't even put A and B together, but I'm like, that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
it's certainly,
I love that.
Yeah, we actually have a smokable product that's in the New England market in certain select stores, and it'll be growing throughout 2021. And it's a phenomenal smokable that we hope contributes to that same fight to help people kind of have a transition from cigarettes. We're actually going to be putting out a smokable line later this year of pre-rolls to really, guide toward that goal. I think that there's so many healthier alternatives, and we have the ability, and because these are businesses that or opportunities for all of us, right? And I just wanted our farm to be a safe gateway for people to come, have their questions answered, be able to buy their product from us and start their product line so that we can help them succeed.
So you don't have to be North Carolina specific. You could be anywhere in the country.
Yeah, because hemp is actually federally legal, and so all of our CBD is hemp derived, and we are definitely able to sell to every state in the country.
That's fantastic. So I want people to know how to find you. I messed up the name.
It's okay.
It's WH Farms CO.
Yes, and it's okay. It's actually in my the title, so it's perfect.
Okay, cool. And so I want people to be able to find you. I want to thank you for coming on today. And I just want you to tell our Cannadivas, because one of the things that I say that Cannadivas represent the intersectionality of women in this industry.
Yeah.
Because I am also a mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a medical patient via my state, but I'm a medical caregiver per my state. So I wear multiple hats in this space. So I consider myself a Cannadiva. You are like Cannadiva, like 3.0, like all these businesses, the farm. And what I love the most is that you're creating a way for people to participate in this industry as big or as small as they want to. And they're working with a farm, which is really impressive to say, listen, I know where all of my CBD comes from.
That's right.
And to be able to say that is really amazing because, when CBD became, like when the Farm Bill started happening and there was CBD in my gas station.
That's right. It was everywhere.
I was mortified, but I was like, I asked the young guy behind the register, I'm like, so what is this? He was like, oh, it's like weed. And I'm like,
it's happening. But as a true consumer, you said it's happening. This is the beginning of a shift.
Yes.
Yes. Commercialization is upon us.
So yes, please tell our Cannadivas an inspiring thing. You said some great stuff already, but you can drop a little word of wisdom before you go.
Yeah. So first of all, to every woman who loves this cannabis plant as much as I do, kudos and salute to you. I know that you are all endeavoring through some challenges in your life because it's never easy being a woman. And what I love about what we have, this is Women's History Month, is that we have the resilience that we're able to be reminded of when we have that mental clarity that our good friend cannabis offers us. So I just want to encourage everyone just to continue to strive towards your goals, see what's happening in this space. You're certainly qualified to be a phenomenal influence to how this plant gets out, this magic is spread around the world so that we can just consume freely. The plant can be freed, and we can just all really enjoy the power that it has to offer.
Nicole, you are amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to use that. I'm going to give you credit a couple of times, but then I'm stealing that cannabis is innocent.
Yes, innocent. We need to stop telling stories on her. She is amazing.
And the plant is female. Yes, it is. Thanks again, Nicole. Please follow Nicole McNair from WH Farms. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we will definitely keep us in the loop because, we have to stay together as women in this industry.
And the website, I just want to make sure I get that as well as whfarms.co. So if you have any questions, our white labeling offers, all of that information is on the site for your viewers.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Alrighty. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us. That was a great talk today. I really enjoyed her. She actually participated with us in one of our clubhouses. Last week, we had to take off from Clubhouse because we were planning Women in Cannabis Lobby Day. But we will be back on Clubhouse on Sunday. I will be back here next Wednesday with a brand new Woman in Cannabis. And thank you so much for joining us. Please follow us on Instagram. Head over to the Cannadiva on www.thecannadiva.com. Join our mailing list, and we will see you very soon. Thanks so much. Take good care. All right, now we get out of here. Thank you. Oh, I love my team.